Hey everyone, and welcome to EdTech Hustle. Today I'm going to show you that anyone can edit using Microsoft Clipchamp. So these are some photos that I took from a recent family trip. I would like to make a video slideshow. Now, maybe you have photos from work or your children's birthday parties or something fun, and you too want to create a video, but you think that process is too hard. Well, I'm going to show you that it's not hard, and it will take just a couple minutes to get going. So let's get started. Your first step is to go to OneDrive.com, where you'll be taken to this page, and we are going to create a free account. Now you can also create a paid account, but for everything that I'm going to show you today, it's going to be done on a free personal Microsoft account. Alright, so once you have created your free account and you've signed into OneDrive, this is the screen that you'll get. It's basically just your online storage space, and we're going to need this in one moment. But before we do, let's go to the program that we are going to use to edit. We're going to click these tiles in the top right hand side of the screen, and we are going to choose this one, which is Clipchamp. Now, if you've never used Clipchamp before, it's Microsoft's online editor. It's designed to make the editing process easy so that anyone can do it. Now, what we'll do first is go to where it says Create New Video. All right, and now we are ready to edit. Well, kind of. Remember those photos that I showed you at the beginning of this video? What we have to figure out is how we're going to get those videos from our phone onto the device that we are going to edit. So now what we're going to do is to go to whatever app store that you have. I have an iPhone, so this is the iOS App Store, and you are going to want to download the Microsoft OneDrive app. You can see it's a pretty popular app. It's also included in the Microsoft 365 Productivity Suite. Download that to your phone, and once it's downloaded, go ahead and open. Okay, so now here I am inside my OneDrive app. This again is my OneDrive account that I've recently created, or that you've recently created. I've had mine for a while. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to click the plus button at the bottom of the screen, and then we're going to create a brand new folder. Go ahead and name your folder. I'm going to call my folder Hiking Photos, and then do a dash. We'll say Hiking Photos Vacation. Okay, we'll select Done. And now we have a brand new folder. As you can see, that folder is empty. So what we need to do is take those photos that I showed you at the beginning of the video, and we need to upload those. So to do that, again, we'll just select the plus button. We are going to want to go to Upload, and then we'll choose Photos and Videos. Okay, so now it's going to let me select the photos that I want to upload into my OneDrive that I can use in Clipchamp to edit momentarily. So let me go ahead and select all of these photos that are right here inside my OneDrive. Now let's go ahead and select Upload. And this process will take a few minutes for you to upload all of those photos into your OneDrive directly from your phone. Now, this will also work if you have videos and you want to edit photos and videos together. You just follow that same exact process. So something that's pretty easy to use. All right. Now, it does say that some files couldn't be uploaded. I'm not sure why, but I'm just not going to worry about that for now, because I know that right now I have at least 20 out of those 25 files that I selected that I can select and that I can edit. So now this is finished. We're done with the OneDrive app. And now let's go back to my laptop and start editing this video together. Okay, so now this is what my OneDrive looks like on my laptop. As you can see right over here, I have hiking photos. These are all of those photos that I recently uploaded a moment ago. So from here, I'm just going to go to my Clipchamp, and now I'm ready to get started. Now we'll talk about this interface in a second, but if you're easily intimidated by these video programs, these video interfaces, don't worry. It's going to be really easy to create this slideshow. So If you want to upload videos that are already on your laptop, you can select import media, and it's going to look in your desktop's hard drive and bring content that way. But instead, what I'm going to do is to click this arrow right over here, and I am going to import that from OneDrive. Now, as you can see, if you have video files in different locations like Google Drive, Dropbox, or your Xbox account, you can also upload content that way. But in this case, I'm going to go to OneDrive, and I'm going to select my folder. In this case, that folder was hiking photos. And now we'll open hiking photos. I'm just going to select all of the photos that I want to bring into edit. I have quite a bit. I think I have like 20 or 25 photos, something like that. Let's see. I think I got them all. All right. All the photos are selected. So now I'm going to select the select button, and all of these will be loaded into my media asset area one at a time. Okay, so I'm in Clipchamp. I have all of my media assets right over here to begin editing. Now I'm ready to start building and creating my video. Now, a few things that you can do to get started. We are momentarily going to be adding all of our images, or if I had videos, I could also add them down here. Now, one thing that I will want to do is I can select the specific size of this video slideshow. So you can see right now it's 16 by 9, which is pretty much the standard video size, but I can go to a vertical video. You see now it's like something you'd see on TikTok or Instagram Reels. There's also square, which is that kind of Instagram-like kind of square post that you often see on your Instagram feed. Some other things as well. There's a classic 4:3. There's other options in terms of your format as well. Now, normally I pick 16 by 9, but since these are photos, I think what I'll try is just this regular 4:3 classic format. So I'm just going to select that. Now, if you want, you can change the background color, but I'm just going to leave this the way it is. Now, all you'll have to do is go right over here where your media files are located and just drag the first clip that you want. In this case, I'll start off right over here. I'm just going to take this, and now I'll drag it right over here. Okay, so our video right now, we're going to start. This is going to be our opening shot. You can see that it is 4 seconds long by default. If I want to play this to see how this looks, I can just press the play button. This is how our video looks right now. Okay, so I've got my first clip. Now let me add my second clip. Okay, now if I push the play button, clip number 1. Sometimes you see that it gets a little laggy sometimes, especially if you've just recently loaded content. Let's go ahead and try that again. By the way, this is your playhead. You can take this and add this to any part in your video. Now, if you add a lot of clips to your timeline, which this is called, you're probably going to want to zoom out like that. It just makes it a little bit easier to see everything that you have. Now let's play it. Here is clip number 1, and now clip number 2. There it is. Now, you might be wondering, okay, those clips, we've added 2 so far, 2 photos so far for the slideshow. Each one is 4 seconds. What happens if, well, maybe you want that to be, let's say, 8 seconds? It's pretty easy. What you can do is move your cursor to the end of that photo, and we'll just kind of extend. So now this one looks like it begins at 4. Let's have it stop at 10 seconds. See that? So now this is now a little bit longer than this clip. It's also going to work the other way. If I want to make it shorter, I can just kind of drag it and kind of adjust the length this way. So pretty easy to do that. So what I want to do now is just kind of lay out all of the clips onto this timeline. And I'm not going to do every single clip, but I'll do, let's see, I'll do maybe like 10 or so clips. So let me go ahead and do this, and I'll get back to you quickly. Okay, so these are the 10 or so clips that I have for my project. Now again, if I want to play this at any time, I can just take my playhead, put it right around here, and I can push play or the space bar, and that is going to play my video. Everything that we see right over here is how the video will look once it's exported. Now, the only thing that may be a little bit different is you can see this skip from clip to clip. There's, again, a little bit of a delay or a little bit of a lag. Don't worry, when we export this video, it's going to look much better. So there are a few different things that you can still do with this video. So we've got our individual photos for the slideshow. What happens like if I want to take this photo right over here and maybe just kind of add it before different photos? So it's very easy. I can do that by just kind of holding down that photo and just dragging it to a different spot. How about like right over here? There we go. And now the photo that was towards the end is now the photo that's more towards the beginning. Or maybe I look at this and I said, you know, this might be a cool way to end this short 40-second video. So again, I'm just going to take that. I'm going to drag it all the way over here to the end. That is the end of my video. But look at this. There is a little gap. Fortunately, what Clipchamp does, you don't have to select everything and drag it over. I mean, you can if you want. You could also drag it one at a time, but that would be extremely inefficient. But Clipchamp does have this option. It sees a gap in your video. And now if I select this trash can, it's going to automatically close that gap. So this is only a short 40-second video, but if your slideshow is 3, 4, 5 minutes, however long, and you're going to be moving clips around, there's going to be spots in your timeline where there will be gaps. This is going to be really helpful because it closes those gaps for you automatically with one click. Now, some other things you can do, I'll warn you that I don't use these features too much, at least not for a slideshow, but with any video clip, like let's take, this one might be a better one to do. Let's take this one of these nice handcrafted bears that are by this tree right over here. If you notice, when you select a clip, on the right-hand side under your initials, there are some options for effects and filters and that sort of thing. So let's go ahead first and take a look at filters. These are some ways that you can change the visual look of your video, or in this case, of our photo. Now, you can see, you're probably familiar with these on different social media platforms, Instagram, that kind of thing. So this is a filter called Golden Hour, and it's going to give our photo a nice golden tint. There we go. That's kind of cool. Now you can do this for one, or you can do this for multiple photos, and we can adjust the intensity. To do this for multiple photos, you just highlight those photos, select filters, and then you just choose whatever filter that you want. Now for this one, I have Golden Hour set up. Let me just move my playhead over here. It is helpful when you do add these filters, just to kind of take your playhead and put it over the clip or the photo that you want to change, because that way you'll be able to see how those changes look. Now, if you don't want a filter, you said, you know, this is fine, but I want to keep it more natural, I'm just going to turn that off. And now that filter has gone away. Now, there are a lot of filters on here. I will warn you, anything here with this diamond is going to be one that you have to upgrade your account for. You can see you can upgrade right over here if you'd like. I'm just going to use the free version, and I know that there are certain filters and that sort of thing that I'm not able to use. Another thing you can do on here is select effects. And again, this can be kind of fun, but it can also be maybe a little unnecessary depending on what your project is. In this case, this is just a slideshow of some photos that I took when I went on vacation. I want to share with people. I probably don't need, some of these cool effects that are on here, but again, it all depends on the project that you want. So let me go ahead and select this one. This says VHS. It's going to give us like a nice VHS grain effect on there. Here's spin. There we go. We can select spin. You can see there's some different options. Now let's go ahead and play this. There we go. Our video kind of just spins like that. And you'll notice that you are able to select more than one effect on here. So I did spin and I did VHS. Now let me turn both of those off and our video returns to normal. Now there are some other things on here, some real wild things like this kaleidoscope. Let's go ahead and play that. Look at that. I mean, kind of cool. I wouldn't want to use it in this case because I would want people to see the photo, but just something I think that's kind of fun. Other things on here, there is a background remover tool that you can use if you're on camera. Let's try disco. We got our disco filter. Look at that. Here's our disco filter. Kind of fun. I want to try comic. Let me try comic, and I'm going to turn off our disco, but I am going to keep comic on. It kind of creates almost like a comic view for you. And again, we can mess around. Whoops. We can mess around with some of the properties on here. So now that looks a lot like a comic. So lots of fun things. Again, these are things that I typically don't do, at least not for a project like this. But you are welcome to play around, obviously. Some other things, there is a way that you can fade the photo in or out. We'll want to use this at the end or the beginning of our clip. I'm going to show you that in a second. And finally, you can mess around with some of the colors if you want on here, the transparency, that sort of thing. So some fun options that you may not need to use, though. I will warn you there. Now, speaking of some other things that, again, are fun but can get a little extreme, you can put transitions in between each one of your clips. And these transitions are pretty fun because it kind of just allows the viewer to see your video in kind of an interesting way when you take two of these images or two clips together. So here's an example. If I go to transition, there's a number of different transitions that are on here. Some which are cool, some which are free. You can see some are paid, but for the most part, it looks like it's free. So I'm going to take this one, Liquid Streaks, and I want to take my Liquid Streaks. It's going to show all the spots that I can add a transition to. So I'll add that transition to this first one. I'm going to use ink, add that transition to my second one, and let me just do one. Let's use this one, a collage. We'll add this one right over here. So now when I play this back, move this to the beginning, push my play button. When it gets to here, you should see those transitions firing off. Transition 1. Up, not quite. Transition 2. There we go. And then transition 3. All right, pretty cool. Let's go back to this one, which didn't happen. Oh, there it is. It's kind of like a scratch. There we go. All right, now you may think, well, that transition was kind of short. So if you want to extend that transition, I thought probably about this one right over here. Just select the transition that you want. You'll see that menu over to the right-hand side. If we scroll up to transition now, we have collage. And now we can really make that transition a little bit longer. Let's go ahead and do... Looks like it does limit us based on how long our clip is, in this case 3.5 seconds. So this is a short clip, so you don't want your transitions to be too long when you're dealing with short slideshows, short slides like this. Let me go ahead and play that. Easy for me to say, right? Perfect. There we go. Now, in this case, what I'd probably want to do is extend this a little bit so the clips are a little bit longer, and then I could make that collage transition a little bit longer. based on the footage that I'm kind of using that transition between. So kind of a fun way to do this. Now I will say this, in most cases I just use something simple like a crossfade. Nothing too fancy. But you see, like, it kind of just blends one to the other just like that. And a lot of times, especially if I have shorter clips, I can clip on my crossfade, and I'll even make this shorter. Like, I'll put this like usually about 1 second or so, sometimes even less. It's a little bit long. Sometimes I'll even put it down to half a second, which you can do here in Clipchamp. Again, just like any of the effects, click None, and then you can remove those transitions. Now, one thing you might be wondering, okay, so I want to put a nice transition here at the beginning or the end. Can I do that? And the answer is no, at least not in Clipchamp. Some programs let you do it. In Clipchamp, you cannot put a transition at the end. You have to put a transition directly between two different clips. And you might think, well, you know, I wanted to use like that real simple fade in and fade out. And that's where we're going to have to go back to the clip properties. We're going to select this first clip, and this is where that fade option comes that I talked to you about a little earlier. So now here's where it says fade in. We're going to fade this in. I'm going to fade this in by about a second, which is usually pretty standard. Now, I'm not going to do a fade out because I have a transition firing after this one. Okay, so now let me go ahead and push play. It's getting ready. All right, see the fade in? Remember, no fade out because I have a transition. Perfect. Now, we're going to do the same thing here with my clip at the end. I'm going to double click on that clip. I'm going to go up to fade, and I'm going to leave fade in alone because I can put a transition before this clip comes. But what I'm going to do instead is do a fade out. Let's make this one maybe a little bit longer because this is the last thing that you'll see. Now let's go ahead and push play. Where's the fade out? There it is, and my slideshow is done. So some fun ways that you can make your videos interesting with transitions for your audience to view. Now, there are a couple things that we have. I talked to you a little bit about how to add your video to OneDrive, to upload your OneDrive photos into Clipchamp, to take that uploaded media from your content library and drag it onto your timeline. I showed you how to adjust clips to make them longer, to make them shorter, how to move clips around your timeline, how to close gaps on your timeline, and finally we talked about transitions, effects, and some other visual properties. But now what I want to do is talk about adding text on your screen, right? It's kind of an important part about any slideshow. Now, again, I do this sparingly because with a video, you don't want to put a ton of text like you would maybe on a document or a PowerPoint presentation, but you can put things like titles or whatever text that you want. Now, once you're in text, you can see a number of different text templates that are available. Okay, I'm just going to take this one because I think that looks kind of cool. That's called Creator. And now when I play this, let's see. That looks kind of cool. Now, one thing you'll notice is that this comes in before the video fades in. So I'm just going to maybe extend that a little bit. Sorry, I'm going to shorten that a little bit. There we go. Our creator thing pops up. And just like with a clip, you can shorten or extend a clip. I'll say that this is maybe 5 seconds, or maybe I could even take this one and extend. And if I wanted to, I could maybe go back and extend this first clip so then the text only stays on the first slide. Okay, so this says creator. Now there's a few different options that you could edit this text even more. So let's just show you the first way. If we just double click on this, you can see the text edit button. I could edit this how I want. So I don't want this to say creator. I'm going to call this my hike. Now I could mess around with the font, although I think this font looks kind of cool, at least for this project. And I can change the size if I want to. I believe I can also make it bigger this way by extending the handles on the corner, making that bigger, making that smaller. I do have options to mess around with rotation as well. Okay, so I've got this. Now you'll probably see on the side all of those same properties that were available for the video clips are also available over here to the right. So now if I select text and I select this text menu to the right, this is where I can easily change the colors. So now I don't want this to be white. How about like a yellow color? There we go. Now, this one was already done, but if you select these advanced properties, you can see some options that you have for things like line height, spacing, that sort of thing. So those things are kind of nice. And then you'll even notice that this one, you can do a fade in as well. So I believe the fade in for my first video was about a second. Now, I can also make this fade in at that same rate. Kind of like that. So now let's see this. There it is. They both fade in together, and maybe instead of this just disappearing, like at this point, I'll keep this a little longer, and this time I'll even put a fade out on here as well. So now the text, my hike, fades in and it fades out. Perfect, just like that. Now there are times where maybe you're not going to want to use some of these specific text styles. One thing to point out is it does have a subscribe button, which is kind of cool, but you're not going to want to use these specific text styles. Maybe you're going to want to create your own. So what you can do is select this option, select text. We're going to hit the play button, or we could also drag it down here to our timeline. And now what you have is text on the screen, just like that. Okay, from here I could just say something like, this was my vacation, just to give you an idea of what you can put. Don't put this was don't put this was my vacation on here. It's kind of a worthless title, but I just wanted to give you something to show you how the text properties worked. I couldn't really think of anything today. So we've got that over here. Again, from here we can change all the properties. Like let's just take something like I don't know, something like that. Kind of plain, right? Change the color. But then if we go right over here, we can also change some other things as well. So if we go to advanced, this is something that I think is really helpful. So it doesn't look so bad here, but if you noticed, when I had this as white text, it was a little bit tougher to see, at least over some like a light background, light text on a light background. So one of the things you can do is to either outline. So now when I go to outline, look at that. It's going to give me some options for me to outline my text that I can play around with. Here's a super thick outline or a smaller outline, but I can select that however I want. The other option is a shadow, where it just kind of drops a shadow behind. It makes it a little bit easier to see. It's less drastic than a big, bold outline around the outside. But again, these are all things that I use when I'm adding text onto a background. So those are some things that is kind of fun that you can play around with. Of course, with our text, we can also do a fade, fade in, and a fade out. We also have some options for text effects as well. So let me select this one, and I'll just do disco. Let's go ahead and check disco. Here we go. Color's kind of changing. Again, I wouldn't recommend that, but those are things that you can do. Okay, so here we are. I have my video right over here. There's my awesome text on the screen. I could also put transitions each time and that sort of thing. So the last step now at the end is going to be to create a message that maybe says the end, right? What else? So to do that, let me go to text styles, see if there's anything on here that I might want. Nothing I really want from here. I'll just do the same thing I did before. I'm just going to do my text, kind of like that. I'm going to write the end. I now need to select my font. DM Sans looks like it's a pretty good one, but let's just try a crazy font like this. Try that again. There we go. Kind of a cool looking font. Just change the color just to show us that it can be done. Okay, now when it gets to this point on my last slide, the end is right here. All right, perfect. Now again, it's a little tough to see here, so these are where I could use my outline or my shadow if I needed to. Okay, so we have a 40-second video. Now, if I was doing this in person or in real time, I'd probably go in, of course, wait for it to buffer and everything, watch the whole video, make sure that I think that this video looks good. It's the way that I wanted. The clips are all in the right order that I want. I have the transitions I want. I have my text in the right space that I want. So there's just one last step. What I want to show you is the content library, and this is where you're going to see a lot of interesting features inside here, whether it's audio or it's visuals. So if I go to visuals, it does give you some things like these little things at the bottom that you can add. Here's like a sticker that I can take. Just kind of take that sticker and put it right over here. You'll see it in a second. Just something kind of fun that you can add to your videos. In this case, it's like a social media sticker. So if you're creating videos for TikTok or Twitter or X or whatever it is, you can add those little stickers. There's just little assets that Clipchamp allows you to bring in. All right, let's take a look at this one. Little animations like that one that you could put on if you like. Now we can also search stickers, so I can just say something like tree, or I can say something like nature, and maybe I want to take this tree. I'll just take this tree. It's going to load. I'm going to put this right over here in the beginning. There we go. Go ahead and see our tree. There our tree is. And I can move it like that. Again, there's all of those effects. There's also the fade, so I could fade this in and out at the same time if I wanted to. But lots of nice features that are available inside Clipchamp. I think stickers is probably the only one that you're going to want to use, but you can even see it. It gives you a lot of stock footage like this one, so I could take, I don't know if I'd want to, but I could take some of these backgrounds and put them at the beginning or the end. Now, if you have your own song that you want to use, you can just go to your content library. Now, if you have your own song that you want to use, you can just go to your media right over here. You can select import media. You can bring that media into your into Clipchamp. You can also take that media, save it in your OneDrive, and then upload it that way. Or if you have a song on your computer that you want, like an MP3, you can bring it in, and we can drag the audio underneath. What we want to do is look for any audio tracks that are available here for Clipchamp. So if I just do Clipchamp selects, you can see now it is going to limit you to using only certain types of sounds on here. You can see it really only gives you a couple different options for music. It looks like almost everything is exclusive to the paid version of either Microsoft or Clipchamp, either one, but there are a few choices, so let's listen to a few. Okay, a couple others. All right, I think I like Sunflower, so I'm just going to take Sunflower and I'm going to add this to my timeline. You see it at the bottom there, and now we will drag this over. I just need to now go to the end. Remember how we can zoom out? Just like that. Just take this and drag this all the way to the end. Right over here. Now, just like before, with any element that we add to our timeline, when we select it, we've got options on the side. For this one, it says audio. We have volume. I want to fade this one out, right? So I'm not going to fade it in, or maybe I'll fade it in. I'll go about a second. Fade this out. Let's do a 2-second fade out. Okay, perfect. So now we have our video. We have a couple stickers, one sticker to be specific. I have all of my clips in the order I want, transitions where I want them. I have video. I have audio in the background. I'm just about ready to export and show you what this video looks like. But the final step that I can do if I want, and I'm not going to go into great detail with this, but if this is something you're interested in, let me know and I'll do a follow-up video, is you do have the option at the bottom to create some kind of narration, whether that's selecting audio and you kind of narrating through each one of these clips, or you can even do text-to-speech, where if you don't like the sound of your voice, you can just type in what you want to say or what you would like your narrator to say, and there's a whole bunch of AI voices. I'm happy to show you those in a different video, but let's keep this one kind of focused to just the slideshow. The last step is going to be this one where it says export. So you'll see that it does limit you here to 1080p, which is probably good enough. If you want a smaller file, I'd recommend 720p. Some of these other options are not available. We'll just say 1080p. And here's where you have a lot of really interesting options in terms of where you want that video to go. So we can save this directly to our OneDrive, which it looks like it's doing right now. We can save it to our Google Drive, upload it to YouTube or TikTok or lots of different things. But from here, I'm going to call this one hiking. And the folder that I'm going to select, I'm going to go to my folder right over here. All right, why don't I just take this video and save it with my hiking photos. It says it's empty. To select. The video is processing right on the side. As it processes, it does kind of play through it. 41 seconds, about 42 megabytes. Now, if I want to send this to my OneDrive, I can just select send, and it will save this directly to my OneDrive. I can also save a version to my computer by selecting this download option. Now, if you want, you can just send this to your OneDrive, and you can download the video at a different time, because you can also download files from your OneDrive to any laptop hard drive or any device hard drive that you would like. It's sending that video to OneDrive. All right, we're good. You can see this green check mark. Yes, this was saved to OneDrive. And a couple different ways that I can share it. You'll see that it does give me a share link that I can copy and I can send. But now, when I go to my OneDrive, look at the bottom. I also have this video, this hiking video, that I can share as a link by clicking this option to share this. And then from here, I can set the properties how I want. But I can copy the link and I can share this with someone, or I can just type their name if I have their name inside my contacts. The other thing I can do is click on these three dots, and remember how I said you can kind of wait to see if you want to download this later. But let's say I want to download this, so I'm just going to select download. Now I'll have that video file that I can put wherever if I want to send it to social media or do whatever else. But that's just about it. So this was a long video. If you made it the entire way, thank you so much. If you have questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. And if this video, this short kind of video course helped you edit, let me know. You can show your thanks by clicking the subscribe button, giving me a thumbs up, or if you really like this video, if you really learned something, please feel free to leave a tip by clicking super thanks. Thank you so much for watching this video, and have a great day.